Hey guys, and thanks for checking out the channel. If you're new here, we're replacing some levers on a build that we're doing, and I thought, hey, this would be a perfect time to get a cheap Chinese lever and then a good quality USA-made ASV lever and kind of do a comparison to show you guys the differences. Is the ASV better? Well, come on, we know the ASV is going to be better, but how much better, and is it worth that extra money? Let's find out. All right, so starting with the ASV, you can see it's a totally different design. The spring is encased in there so your hand can't get caught up or anything on it, as where the Chinese one, it all hangs out and dangles down the bottom, is where that's all built together. I think this is a really cool design as far as how it's very smooth. It's incredibly smooth. This one, I wish I could, I wish you could feel it. Like it's super tight there, but then it's kind of loose there, but it quickly gets overly, man, I wish I had a torque meter. Where's Project Farm? I need him to put a torque meter on this. But yeah, this one is very easy to fold all the way back and very smooth, very smooth. Now, as far as the adjustment for the stop, everything's pretty solid. This looks like it's gonna be really easy to adjust into place. And then once you've got it where you want it on the motorcycle, you're gonna hold this Allen head and then tighten your lock nut. A really nice steel bushing that looks like that's gonna be a nice feature. All right, so let's go ahead and take this thing apart. That is a ball bearing. There's literally a ball bearing. So there's quite a bit of pieces. I hope you guys can see this well. There's quite a bit of pieces in here. You've got the ball bearings here at the end to keep it smooth. This little plastic bushing goes in here where the spring sits. And then these spacers slide in there. So your bolt will not catch any of the spring. The spring goes inside there. Your bolt threads right there cannot catch on to any of the spring. That's a pretty cool design. Now, as far as how well the pieces are machined, again, this is really cool that there's a steel bushing in there. But as far as the, it's a little sharp, not bad. I don't know why any of that would matter really, but it is a little sharp there. This is actually really smooth. Oh, there's nothing sharp at all on here. This is really smooth. So there is more moving parts, I will say. There are more moving parts in the ASV that keep it a little smoother. But with that said, remember that this isn't supposed to fall back. You shouldn't crash every time you ride and have to move. This should normally stay steady and never move. It just presses in. All right, so what are the parts made of? Let's grab the back of this tray. We can see without question, we have good magnets on here. Let's start with the bolt. That is not a stainless nut. They do not use a stainless nut. That is definitely not a stainless bolt. These are probably aluminum. If I had to bet, these are probably aluminum. Well, I said that was a steel bushing. Maybe it's a stainless steel bushing. It's definitely not magnetic. Of course, the lever is aluminum. It's not going to be magnetic. The bearings are definitely not stainless steel. They hook to it. And the rest of this hardware is not stainless. So none of the hardware is stainless in the ASV. So the design, I guess, is quite a bit different, but none of the hardware is stainless. So there you have it. That's the teardown. Now let's get it all put back together. And there's really no need to put Loctite or anything on this one because, again, it has the lock bolt from the factory and everything feels really solid, very easy to get to, very easy to use, and it's a quality USA made part. So here we see the Chinese lever. At first glance, it does look really nice. There aren't any washers or anything there, I guess, but the spring's down here on the bottom, which is clearly different than the ASV. It does have a nice plastic guard on it. I think it's neat, but I guess it could hold mud or dirt, something like that in there. So as far as looking at the build quality, kind of makes a little squeak. I will say this though, you can see that the adjustments are they're loose. you have a very thin nut that unless you adjust this out, you're not gonna be able to get a typical wrench up in there to hold that lock nut and lock it in place. Is that loose too? Yeah, I think the entire lever came here. Wow. So yeah, it wasn't even tightened up. So it's gonna be a little easier taking it apart for you guys and showing you what everything is in there, I guess. Let's see here. As far as tearing it down to check everything out. Let's see, we got the little spring there. And then, yeah, this isn't tight either. All this is just, goodness. And then, of course, as I said, this is just loose in there. The spring, well, it sticks pretty good to the magnet. So if it's stainless, it's definitely a cheap stainless. As far as, you know, this has a little weight to it. The main bolt could be stainless because it is definitely not sticking to it, and I don't think it's aluminum. Now, the bottom, the lock nut, if that's what you'll call it, I know it doesn't stick, but it is as light as it is and as easy as it seems to mark up and scratch up. I think this is actually aluminum, so you better go easy tightening this thing because that's definitely not gonna make it. As far as the quality, you know, the lever feels really smooth. Are there no rough edges? It's finished really well. I don't know if you can hear that. That's actually a pretty, well, you can see my skin. It's a pretty sharp edge there. But other than that, it's pretty smooth and well-rounded as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this Chinese one put back together, and definitely going to bust out some of the thread locker because clear as day, we need some thread locker. There's no kind of a locking mechanism on this aluminum, you know, nut here, so we better put something to keep it from vibrating apart. Well, there you have it, up close and personal, the difference between these two levers. I know it was just a quick rundown, but hopefully this gave you a little bit more insight of what is in the Chinese levers and these ASVs. Now, if you guys out there happen to stumble upon this video and you have some ASVs or these China levers, please write a comment, good, bad, something about your lever so others that are watching this can see lots of honest reviews on different types of, you know, China or ASV levers. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Oh, and if you enjoy the video, please let me know by liking and subscribing.